Welcome back. Thank you all for coming. Today's topic is healing the energetic connection to our physical mother. We got a reading from Sri Kaleshwar, but before we dive into that, Florentine, maybe you want to say a little bit about why we're talking about this today, how this links to the topic last week, and then we can dive into the reading.
Yeah, first one also. Welcome everybody again. Some new faces. I think you were not there last week. I can't remember. It's so good to see you. I am Primos. I don't know how to say this name. I think I've never heard that name before. Welcome, very warm welcome. Oh, it's a he. Hi. Hi, brother.
It's great to see a guy here.
Yes. Okay. Who of you were in our satsang or listened to the replay from 2 weeks ago? Some of you, Jagadamba,
Janice was there.
Who was not? Completely new?
Completely new, first
Okay.
time today. Okay, great.
Okay, welcome. Yeah, I'm asking because this satsang is a little bit continuation of the last one.
Yeah. If you didn't come, it's totally fine.
No problem.
Yeah.
Just to explain, why we talk about this today. We started 2 weeks ago about soulmates. Swami was very, very particular about having soulmates, that everybody should have at least one soulmate in their life. And we explained a little bit what that is. And we had a reading about, from Swami's words about soulmates. And then afterwards we talked about it and we realized that heartbreak is one of the biggest obstacles to that, that we carry these wounds in us that prevent us or block us from fully opening our heart and fully receive love and give love. And that heartbreak and soulmate relationships and any kind of relationship is very connected. And heartbreak is also a big teaching of Swami's. He said most people are heartbroken to different degrees, 85 to 90%, he said. And then we just naturally last time came to the mother-child relationship as the primary relationship into which we are born. The mother is literally our first, most fundamental relationship because we are growing up first in the womb of our mother. So that's the most essential relationship. And there's a lot of heartbreak, especially in the Western world with mothers, also with fathers. But we wanted to focus today on the mother because it's really the first relationship. And Swami talked a lot about the importance of having a healthy, healed bond, energetic bond with the physical mother. It doesn't mean that you meet her every day. It's not so much about the physical connection, how much you see your mother or don't see your mother. It's more about the energy connection, that there's like an open-hearted love bond where whatever was there in the past is being forgiven and whatever pain was there is being healed, so that you have that powerful connection with your physical mother, because that connects us to the divine mother. So it's much more difficult to connect to the divine mother if our energy bond with our physical mother is blocked. There's pain, there's heartbreak, there's any kind of disconnection. And so this is, it's all connected, soulmates, first relationship to the mother, relationship to the divine mother. And because Navaratri is coming up, we felt it's very important to focus on the mother right now. So yeah, that's a little bit the connection to last time.
Yeah.
We talked also about that Jesus and Mother Mary, and they are the template for a healthy, most powerful soulmate relationship. Swami talked a lot about the two of them, how Jesus could have not done what he did without his soulmate, Mother Mary. And she was also his physical mother. And so she's also a template for what's possible in a human body in terms of being a mother. And from the child perspective, from Jesus' perspective, to have that kind of mother. So that's possible for all of us, but most of us are not quite there with our own physical mothers. Yeah, maybe we just go into the
Let's
reading.
go to the reading and then,
Let's
we
do-
will, we'll talk,
yeah.
we'll talk a whole lot
Yes.
more about it.
Yes.
Okay, so these are, this is a compilation of excerpts from Sri Kaleshwar, by Sri Kaleshwar. We've taken these from the Holy Womb and the Real Life and Teachings of Jesus Christ.
So it's a mix of different, this was not one talk that he gave, it's a compilation.
And we'll also post this on our space in David Loka afterwards, so you can read it for yourself as well. Okay. Swami, you don't need to be with your physical mother all the time, but it's important to have a love relationship. True love with your mother. I just realized I need to make sure. That's why. Okay. I just realized our audio settings were off, so we wouldn't be able to hear you in case you said anything. So
Maybe start again.
yeah, I'll start again. Okay. You don't need to be with your physical mother all the time, but it's important to have a love relationship, true love with your mother, and a strong bond with your mother and your father. It doesn't matter if your childhood days were rough days, your parents were fighting, their relationship wasn't good, and they left each other. But once you have a strong bond with your mother, she is the strongest healer for any soul in the planet. Even though I work with a person for 1,000 hours to give healings, that 1,000 hours is equal to the mother holding and hugging you for 1 minute, telling you, don't worry, I'm with you. She sucks the pain like a vacuum. If your mother is not available physically, you can connect to her on the cosmic level, intellectual level, soul level, heart level, mind level. Feel her and make a link with her. That's the first major step for you to easily access the healing. Once you have that thinking on your mother and you're having a pain, you're suffering, your husband is torturing you, your children are torturing you, your boyfriend is torturing you, you're having health problems, you don't need to pray to God. First God is the mother. Your first well-wisher is your mother, no matter what. Mother is true love. Woman is true love. Try to understand that. Go in depth and understand. Pull that. Grab that from your childhood days. A mother's love is immortal forever and ever, highly immortal. Once you win your mother's heart, that's it. Automatically, you got enlightened there. It doesn't matter if your mother is alive or not. If you're doing a good job on your mother's name, yes, you made it. You completed your journey. You completed your austerities. 99% of your jobas, your homas, your journeys, you completed it. Good job. Then taking care of the poor people, the hungry people. It's enough. Human beings have to respect the mother's womb. That is our holy place. We came from there. A soulmate is a path to receive unconditional love. Already God has given a majority parents as the biggest soulmates. But a lot of children have a lot of pain, a lot of anger around their parents. Their childhood days were rough days, especially in Western countries. The children are grown in a painful way. Like the mother has a boyfriend and divorces, and the father is different. It's not healthy there. That impact will affect the soul. Our childhood days energy power, that behavior, that clarity mind, that vision keeps continuing the rest of your life. Our childhood days very powerfully play on our life's goal. It's a golden statement. Your upcoming future generations will have less depression and more clarity, depending on how much you're really caring and protecting your kids in a beautiful, loving way. Very, very important. Hey, Swami, my mother treats me like garbage. She kicked me out of her home. If you have bad feelings on your mother, I'm so sorry. I can't help you. You have to respect your mother and you have to connect to your mother. Then connect to Mother Divine. You have to develop these kinds of inner feelings in silence. Even if you do not have good feeling for your mother, you have to respect her. I don't care. You have to respect your mother. First, we need to worship our mother and father. That's the big block we are forgetting. If you cheated your mother, if you're responsible for her tears, you cannot win love. Love in the sense you cannot win the womb chakra. The first gods are mother and father. Doesn't matter what their character, qualities, affairs, whatever. It's none of your business. No, it's none of your business. They've given birth to you. You should not give pain to them. If you keep giving pain, layers of your womb chakra keep getting cut off. Again, to refill one layer, it takes a minimum of 100 years. Respect the women's kingdom and do not cause tears. Otherwise, the tears will turn around like big, unbelievable headaches. That's the mother's law. This is Swami Kaleshwar's statement. The mother's womb chakra is very strong. If she cries, the energy is flowing and hitting that soul very strongly, making things happen very quickly. If you care about your parents' pain, 90% you got enlightenment. It is equal to 1 million homas if you make them happy. Today, what I'm saying is, have respect for the mother, then for the father. That is the major step in spirituality. Third is the master. And that's the reading today.
There's a lot in there, like
There is,
as usual.
yeah,
We
yeah,
could talk about every paragraph for at least one satsang in itself.
yeah.
Yeah, we won't be able to go into all of it today, but it's just to get a sense of how important physical mother is, and how when there's pain, he's comparing it to, like, it's equal to, if you make your parents happy, if you care about their pain, it's 90% of your enlightenment. I mean, this is pretty powerful.
Yeah, let's
you know?
let's start there, right? I would say,
Yes.
and this goes hand in hand with the soulmate relationship, right? Because the soulmate relationship, it's all about, it's about merging with the divine through the divine in another. In you know, in my understanding, the everything is carrying the divine. The divine is in everything, right? In everything. And we have the possibility to connect to that and to live in the presence of that. And nothing carries the presence of God more powerfully than a human soul. And so in order to experience the most powerful presence of God in the creation, while we're in the creation, it's through relating to another human soul. But the only way we can do that is if there's a love flow, if there's an open heart, if we can feel love and we feel that love for another, then we're in the presence of the divine. Like, that's equal to heaven. That is immortal enlightenment. It's right there in the relationship. It's not an abstract thing. It's literally the link that we have to the divine that is beyond the creation, is reflecting off of our soul in the creation. But because we need a mirror to experience that, that mirror is our soulmate. That is what the soulmate enables us to do. And if there's anything standing in the way of that, in other words, if there's any pain or if there's any heartbreak that covers that, then that prevents us from experiencing that mirror and living in the presence of the divine through others.
The physical mother, like Swami says, mother and father, both parents, but let's talk about the mother today, is given by God. It's meant to be our first soulmate. It's meant to be our first experience of that unconditional love. Swami says the parents, the physical parents, are our first gods. He really means that literally. The mother and the father are the child's first God. And so you can imagine when a little child is experiencing that relationship, not as unconditionally loving, but painful, until, like, I mean, there's all kinds of ranges, from just the love is not quite flowing as powerfully to like abuse and violence and like really the opposite of love. You know, there's a whole range. So if that little child is experiencing her his or her mother as not that goddess, that unconditional love, like Mother Mary is an embodiment of, then that will be the imprint, that will be the programming, that will be the beliefs of that person growing up. And it could show in all kinds of different ways. First of all, it could mean heartbreak, that there's literally already a heartbreak at that early age. And I mean, I know so many people who are not even aware that they carry heartbreak. I mean, same for us. No, I didn't know. I had still heartbreak with my physical mother until I became mother myself, because that's the magic of becoming a mother. All the mothers will probably understand this, that through becoming your own mother, you realize your own mother wounds in the most powerful way, because your child is mirroring it directly back to you. But also in a relationship, like any relationship with the feminine, it might be your friend, your girlfriend, it might be your wife, you know, like me to him, you know, whatever female person in your life, you know, it will reflect back the pains, the heartbreaks that you have, that you're carrying. And usually they root back to your physical mother. So I am also talking as a healer here, as a counselor, and I can tell you, I mean, all of you who are healers will probably notice that most people carry a lot of pain around their physical parents, and especially the mother. And Swami says, you know, there's so much pain in the Western countries, how children are growing up. It's just not healthy. He's saying there's a lot of depression coming from that, a lot of pain, and we need to change this. So we need to heal the relationship, the energetic relationship to our mother. We can't change our mother. We can't go back into the past and I mean, we probably can a little bit, you know, but with Kala chakra work or whatever, but we have to heal inside our own heart. We have to find compassion for our mother. We have to find forgiveness for our mother. And that's what Swami is saying. Like, even if she treated you like garbage, even if she did whatever she did, you know, she had her own pain. She was in her own karmas. She most probably didn't receive it herself. That's usually, you know, the family karmic line is that whatever you don't receive yourself, it's very hard to give to the next generation. It's just always like that, you know. So usually when we create pain in others, it's because we are carrying so much pain in ourselves. So all we can do is to heal that in us. You know, this is what Swami is emphasizing here, like forgive them. We will share one healing technique where it's all about forgiving your physical mother. Find the love, like care about your parents, understand where they were coming from, care about their tears, make them happy. Like, basically, don't continue that negativity. Even you had negativity in your childhood, even you had heartbreak, pain, whatever it was, like, heal it, discontinue the negativity, unblock the connection you have with your physical mother, and love them, take care of them, care about their tears, like really, really try to make them happy on an energy level.
Yeah, and part of the, you know, the process of forgiveness, you know, it's, according to Swami, forgiveness is taking us beyond karma. It's taking us beyond Maya. It's taking us beyond the illusion, right? It's taking us to directly to the highest. When we forgive, right, we go straight past all the illusion layers to what is real, right? And whatever our mother was carrying, whatever pain was in her heart with her mother, the reality is that on her soul level, there is nothing but immortal and unconditional love for our soul as her child. Even if that didn't flow at all in, you know, the relationship, or only flowed a little bit, right, because it was blocked by her own pain, the reality is that love. And no matter what our relationship to our mother was, we have the ability to access the reality of her love. We have the ability to open up to that and receive it. But it's, again, it comes down to the same thing that we were talking about earlier, if there's a block there, right? If there's a pain that we are holding, it's okay if we're feeling pain, right? That's natural. If we feel pain in our relationship with our mother, that's natural. But then we have to learn how to heal and release that pain. Because if we hold the pain, then it becomes a literal block to us on our way to try to get to the reality of that love that's there. And so we get stuck in the pain and we can't see past it. We can't feel past it. Many times we don't even know we're in pain, right? We just feel normal. That's normal to us. It's been so painful for so long since we were babies and children that we don't even realize. That's what Florentine was saying. You know, we don't even realize that we're carrying heartbreak, because for us, that's just normal. That's just how we've always felt. And then it's a relationship usually, which will reflect back to us that heartbreak in any number of ways, and especially a soulmate relationship. And that's something that happened between Florentine and I over and over again, is that our behavior would reflect back to the other one, that person's heartbreak. In other words, Florentine would behave in ways that exactly triggered that pain in me. And it took over a decade of that happening before I was blessed with the insight that that's what was happening, that she was reflecting this pain to me, because what was always happening was she would reflect this pain to me, and then I would see her as the source of pain. You know, I would see her behavior as a source of pain and not the pain that I was carrying. In other words, if I wasn't carrying it, it could not reflect outwardly. And if it did reflect outwardly, if that pain was not in me, I would not feel it as pain.
And it was pain with your physical mother.
And that was pain with my physical mother. It was pain with my mother that I was looking to, what's the word I'm looking for? To fill, looking to Florentine to take care of that wound, right? Instead of taking care of that wound myself, right? And so then, of course, it leads to conflict, because now it's two egos who are trying to heal each. I mean, they're trying to get the other one to take care of their wound, instead of two individuals, two souls taking care of those wounds themselves and then coming together in union. And so the relationship will always reflect back. Anytime we feel hurt, right? It doesn't mean that someone else didn't act in a hurtful way. People might act in hurtful ways, but the degree to which we feel hurt, right, will, to one degree or another, reflect that pain that we're carrying.
Well, and it's not only the heartbreaks, but it's also beliefs that we carry unconsciously will be reflected through our relationships. And we talked about that also 2 weeks ago, that the power of soulmate relationships, like we have a soulmate relationships, and it's the struggle that we've been going through in our relationship was a lot because as souls, we have agreed to help each other uncover these wounds and these pains and whatever blocks we are carrying that we could otherwise not even realize or discover, you know. So we would constantly like reflect, like you just said, you know, reflect back what we were still carrying, the wounds and the pains, but also the beliefs, you know. Just to give you an example, like my biggest unconscious belief was that I was unworthy of love, of real true love. And that's not like I'm not consciously thinking that, but it's just like very deep down on a like a small little child level, that belief got created because like my, you know, an example from my story is that my mother wasn't really able to give love because she was just 17 years old when she got pregnant with me. She didn't want to be a mother. It was an accident. She was totally unhappy, and yeah, you can imagine. Yeah. And then she was not really stepping into her mother role even after I was born. She just didn't really want to be a mother, you know. So I, as a little child, not of course a little baby, doesn't understand, doesn't have the mind yet to understand, oh, that's my mother's pain, that's that's her story. It's not my fault that I came right now in her life. You know, the baby interprets it as, oh my gosh, something is totally wrong with me. I must be unworthy of love. And I'm simplifying this a little bit right now. It's complex and very deep, but just to give you a little idea how these beliefs are being created or can be created. So my little inner child, my little inner baby believed I am unworthy of love because I didn't receive it because my mother wasn't able to give that to me. But it wasn't really my fault, but that was my programming, that was my belief. And so that's how I grew up. And then of course I'm attracting karmically these kinds of relationships that confirm that, you know, or that make me interpret it as, see, I knew it. I'm unworthy of love, you know, and it could even be like in other ways, not only through relationship, it could be in terms of prosperity or what you need in your life. Very deep down, if you have an unworthiness consciousness or unworthiness belief, you will have difficulties in receiving, like really whatever you need. If is it love, is it money, whatever, prosperity, abundance, you will be blocked. And so it's very, very powerful, this first relationship template and everything that comes with it. And the physical mother is really the number one um, relationship we have to go back to, you know, and see what needs to be healed. And in terms of beliefs, to realize this is the healing, you know, for example, with my mother, when I realized, oh my God, it didn't have anything to do with me. It wasn't my fault. And that's what Swami means, you know, mother is love. She didn't not love me. She just couldn't show it because of her own pain, her own whatever she was going through, and her inability to step into that mother energy. But of course, she loved me. Of course, every mother loves her child. It's just nature. It's just the way it is. It's just sometimes so covered up and so blocked and so not flowing to the baby that then the baby receives it or interprets it as there is no love for me. I am alone. There is no love. I am unworthy, you know? And so I needed to go back to that and basically retrain this little child's consciousness, you know, this baby's belief system, and explain to her, like, look, this was not your fault. This, you know, like just explaining now that I'm an adult, I understand it, you know, okay, that was my mother's pain. And then just love that little baby, like give that little baby what she didn't receive, become my own mother to that little baby. And that's just one example how I healed one of my biggest wounds, my biggest heartbreaks, you know. And then I can feel love for my mother, because I felt all my life until she passed, like in my early 20s, very long ago, I was always angry, 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 angry. And I didn't even quite know why, you know. So after I healed this anger, like Swami said, there's a lot of anger around the parents, right? I had that too. But then when you do the healing, that just fades away. And then the true love that every child has for their mother is coming out, because that's also the truth. Every child loves their mother, no matter what. And then that was starting to blossom, and I could step up into my true self, into my true heart, my true soul connection with my mother. And now when I think, I mean, there were other things that I needed to heal, but now there's just pure love and forgiveness and compassion. Now I feel more like, almost like her mother, like what Swami says, take care of their pain, make them happy. Like I just feel I want to mother her. I just feel so much compassion for her. You know, I'm not anymore in this wounded child consciousness where I was angry and upset and hurt. And anyways, that's just a little bit from my experience. Do you want to share from your experience some healing that you did?
Yeah. At first, I would love to read what Swami says about this, because he says our childhood's days energy power, that behavior, that clarity mind, that vision keeps continuing the rest of your life. Our childhood days play very powerfully on our life's goal. It's a golden statement. Uh, um, whenever Swami says it's a golden statement, it means like
This is important. Pay
it's
attention.
not only is it important,
Yeah.
you can almost encapsulate all of spirituality in that one sentence. So in other words, your childhood days play very powerfully on our life's goal. If we had had a mother like Mother Mary, who loved us unconditionally, right? Who loved the divinity in us, who loved our soul the way that she loved Jesus, just establishing that in our childhood days, that's it. That's all you need. In other words, if in future generations, mothers will be able to do this for their children, that's it. They don't need to do spirituality. They are completely connected to divine love just because it was flowing through their mother. If it flows through their mother to them, their soul has experienced heaven on earth. The literal presence of God's love on earth. They've already experienced it, and they know that to be the foundation of their life. And so they grow up that way. They grow up knowing this, they grow up feeling this, and they grow up relating to the entire world with this relationship to the mother, the nature, the creation. That's what the world is. The world is the mother herself. And we connect to it in this way, right?
The Swami says also the mother, the physical mother, is your biggest
Yes.
healer.
Yeah.
When you have that healthy connection, that heart open, no pain, no anger connection energetically, then you can access your mother's energy as your biggest, highest, most powerful healer. Swami says, I don't think it's in this quote that we have, but does he says that? Oh yeah. A mother holding her child. Wait a minute, where is that?
The 1,000 hours.
It's like 1,000 hours of healing by a master or something like that. I can't find it right now. But basically, he also said the physical mother is more powerful as a healer to us like than a Jesus. I mean, just think about this. Your physical mother has more healing power to you when there is this healthy, beautiful, open-hearted bond than Jesus would have with you. I mean, this is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You know, so that shows again the importance of the healing. We need to heal that.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't feel any pain, you don't feel any anger, if you feel pure love for your mother and you really want to take care of her, you love her, there's nothing but pure love, then blessed are you that you're really lucky. I can just say I know so many who still in their adult days have pain, anger, like Swami says, you know,
Yes.
it's so common. Or they don't feel anything. It's like complete heartbreak can also show itself as you just don't feel anything in your heart. You're completely shut down. It's numb. You don't feel anything. And I think that's sometimes misunderstood as I'm fine. I don't have any issues, you know.
Yeah. I
mean-
don't feel like people who don't feel pain
Yeah,
because they don't feel anything.
it's
Right.
actually a heartbreak symptom.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's where I was, by the way. That was my main thing is I had such a hard time feeling anything because of how numb I had gotten living in the presence of, right? The pain that I experienced as a child. And I really want to emphasize here that like this really is it. I mean, my personal understanding is that everything that Swami taught and everything almost any spiritual lineage is teaching is because we've lost this link. In other words, if we had this link, if mothers were at this level of unconditional love, there would be no need for spirituality. There would be no need for mantras. There would be no need for any techniques. There would be no need for any of this because we would all be directly connected.
Yeah, my Swami said the mother, the physical mother, is the link
That's
to
right.
the divine mother.
That's it. That's exactly right. He says it here. I mean, these statements are very easy to gloss over because they seem so simple. Where is it that's enlightenment? That's right here. Once you win your mother's heart, that's it. Automatically you got enlightened there.
It doesn't matter if your mother is alive or not.
Yeah. Like
You
That-
completed your journey.
Yes.
You completed your austerities. 99% of your Chiapas homeless journeys, you completed it. Good job. So yeah,
That's like,
really powerful.
that is everything, right? In other words, you could drop every process. You could drop every meditation. You could drop everything. If you win that love through your mother, you don't need any of that. It was all just to get you there. Then all you have to do is take care of poor people, the hungry people. In other words, just serve at that point. Just serve, and that's enough. We don't need to do anything else. And so we kind of, like our process has been basically like, okay, we've got to go in reverse, right? We've got to get back to that. Then we have to heal everything that's in the way of that. And everything, everything, everything. And that's the fun part. That's what life is. That in my experience, this is why life feels like such a struggle. This is the reason why life for me has felt like a struggle. Not because life is a struggle, right? But because I've struggled with this pain in relationship to life. Like if I'm feeling overwhelmed, right? If I'm feeling like life is too much, right? There's too much going on. That's how I felt as a child. That's how I felt as an infant. And now I'm just continuing to feel that way, right? But now instead of in relationship to my mother and her emotions, I'm feeling that way in relationship to the world, right? And whatever circumstances the world is presenting to me. It's a perfect reflection, or a near perfect reflection. So my personal experience, because I'm really big on Jesus in my life, right? We both are, but that's been a channel that just has been a guiding light for me. And his path was the path of opening the heart completely, to the point of experiencing love, even in the highest negativity, right? Even in the midst of the passion and the torture and all the evils there, his heart was so open that he was able to connect to the love and the divinity in all of that. And so that's personally like been my model, like in terms of, okay, I've got this pain, right? I've done a lot of healing at this point. I've done a lot of transformation, a lot of meditation, a lot of japa, but there's still this pain that I'm carrying. And again, it's showing up in the relationship.
That's why relationships are so important.
Yes.
That's why this time now it's not about sitting alone in the cave meditating for thousands of years.
Yeah.
That has its place, and there might still be rishis doing that. But for us, very important, Swami made clear, you got to be in the world, you got to be with people, you got to be in families, in relationships.
Yeah. Any kind of relationships.
Yeah.
Any kind of relationships. Doesn't have to, it's not just romantic friendships, with therapists, with healers, right?
And soulmates.
And of course, soulmates. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
So that's where the pain shows up, and that's where we need to work. That's where we need to heal.
Yes, exactly.
Coming back to the mother.
Well, do you mind if because I was going somewhere with it.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't just lost.
Sorry.
But so it showed up in the relationship, right? But the way that it showed up was whatever interaction we were having, there was a very specific feeling that I would have. There was a pain that I would have, right? Just the way that I would often feel hurt in the relationship, right? So no matter how much japa and other healing that I'd done, this kept happening. And so for me personally, what this involved was learning how to open up to the feeling of that pain. In other words, instead of trying to push it away, instead of trying to wash it out or heal it out, right? In other words, instead of trying to get rid of it or to decharge it, all these things have their place. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do those things. They're super important, right? But what I realized was that I had taken on this element of I am trying to disconnect from this pain. I don't want it and I want it out. And all I was doing in these processes was basically tightening my fist harder around it, right? I don't want this pain. It's too much for me. I can't stand it. I want it out, right? I want to get rid of it. And all I'm doing is holding on to it tighter. And so no matter how much healing I do, and no matter how much meditation and japa I do, nothing's getting through this. Nothing is getting through this holding of this pain.
It's literally a block.
Yeah, it's literally a block, right? It's an actual block. Now, these are kind of what the blocks are. It's really stuck
And
parts.
she can't
It
flow through.
cannot flow, right? And so there came a point where I realized, okay, I've got to start feeling what this is. I've got to start just sensing into how this feels and what this feels like. And whoa, this is so painful. This hurts so much. No wonder I never wanted to feel this. Of course, I tried to shut down to this. And then when possible, then feeling that either in the presence of the divine, like looking at Mary's picture and opening my heart to her and feeling this pain in her presence. That was a big one for me, or Jesus. Or when there was enough harmony in the relationship, going to Florentine, and now instead of dumping my pain on her or taking it out on her, right, which is what I had been doing, I came to her and shared the actual pain.
And that's the soulmate mechanism.
And then the soulmate mechanism kicks in, and then there's the presence of unconditional love. And that presence of unconditional love is what the soul needs to stay completely open to the pain. And it doesn't shy away from the pain. And now, like Jesus in his passion, the soul can stay completely open and present. And because the soul and the love are immortal, but the pain and the emotion isn't, it is temporary. In the presence of the immortal, in the presence of unconditional love, in the presence of the soul, the pain can be completely felt and washed. And then it's gone. That particular pain. And then comes the next one.
Yeah, and that would be the so in other words, some things in us, some blocks in us, no mantra will help, no meditation will, no Shakti, but it is the presence of unconditional love that heals. It's really, in our experience, that's why we talk about these things, and we created our space in the name of unconditional love, because we experience it so often that in the presence of unconditional love, the impossible can heal.
Yeah.
But it's really unconditional love that doesn't want to fix, doesn't want to give advice, doesn't want to, like, even like, oh my gosh, I have a mantra that I could give you. No, just hold that's the divine coming in and washing it out. It's the most powerful healing, So yeah, it's really important to not underestimate the power of love in itself, unconditional love.
Yeah. I mean, it really is everything. Like, love is everything. Love is the foundation of the universe. Love is what creates the entire creation. The love of the father with the mother. The love that flows creates everything. And so when we're able to open back up to that love, we open back up to the source of everything. And our mother is that source for us in this physical world. And when we can open up to that love with her,
she's supposed to be that source.
Well, I mean, yes,
she
exactly.
Is at the reality.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. She's supposed to play that role for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Exactly. And then when we can reconnect to the reality of that love with her, then we can reconnect to the source, to the Divine Mother. And then where the Divine Mother is, the Divine Father is. They go together.
And we will talk more about the divine father energy as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of heartbreak with fathers and with the father energy, with the divine father. I mean, this is a whole big subject, but we today and next time we will focus on the mother energy. So just so you know, father energy, very important.
Yeah.
Also for the mother to hold the mother energy. There's a whole Shiva Shakti mechanism, you know, where the mother, the feminine needs that Shiva support to hold certain energies. Like it's a whole system and they both need each other.
Yeah.
We will talk about this more in the future. So we don't want to neglect the father energy here. It's very, very important also for the mother.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one thing that I feel is really important to talk about is how a big mistake that I know I made, and I think Florentine made this also, is that once we start to recognize, even before we start to recognize that we have these wounds with our parents, you know, if our parents are still around, that we expect them to heal it. Right?
That's still the child in us.
That's exactly right. That's still the child in us. And we expect our parents
To
to
change.
take care of, and our parents to either change and be the, you know, the loving parents that we wanted them to be, or we direct our anger and our frustration at them, right? In the hopes that they'll be able to wash it. And in my experience, you know, that just caused pain in them. That just caused pain.
And that's what Swami says. It's like the worst
Yeah.
karma you could do, cause pain in your parents,
Yeah.
especially your mother.
Yeah.
He says, do not cause tears in your mother. It
Yeah.
is like a tsunami in your life. And that's the mechanism of the womb chakra, which we haven't even mentioned yet, you know,
Yes.
why the physical mother is so important. It's also mechanistically, energetically, she is our womb chakra in the body. She is the womb where we come from. And I don't know who of you is already doing the womb chakra yantras, but that is also a very powerful process to connect to the physical mother and to heal the connection to the physical mother. That in itself is a big, powerful healing, but yeah, it doesn't solve everything. Like certain things you have to work on a consciousness level, on a like what you shared, like the pain just needs to be like felt and released in the presence of love, you know.
Yes.
But I do believe that that the womb chakra process in itself will bring up a lot. Like it is kind of like a healing path in itself. Like doing the womb chakra yantra every single moon
Yeah.
in itself, I believe, is showing you, will show you these are still the things you need to heal in yourself and with your mother. Like it's kind of like it brings everything to light because
Yeah.
it's so powerful. So this is, you know, J to the womb chakra knowledge, I have to say. Because
Yeah.
I believe we wouldn't be where we are now in terms of with our physical mothers without all of that as well.
Yeah.
You know,
And
so
I'd love to add, because earlier, you know, when I was saying that, you know, there's certain things that healings won't take care of, right? Like that eventually we have to reopen, like the blocks, right?
mhm.
But the processes and the mantras and like the holy womb process, for example, what it does is it really pushes us as close as possible to the brink of being able to heal that.
Yeah.
Right? Because it strengthens our soul so much. It washes so much that is covering the soul, that the soul can come up really strongly. Right?
Mhm.
And by the way, when this happens, this was the most painful time of my life. Right? Not that like I went through really deep depression that drove me to spirituality. Right? I think a lot of people come to spirituality because they're in deep pain, right? Not because they're experiencing enlightenment and want to understand what's happening. I mean, there's a combination of it. We experience profound experiences and what's going on, but also it hurts so much all the time. And I really, you know, I don't want that anymore. And so there was that pain, but the most painful time was once I did so many of these processes. And so my soul was so much stronger and sensitive
Mm.
because now I could start to feel this pain and I could start to feel the way that the blocks were really creating suffering in my life. And that was really hell, was that period, right? When my soul was up and my blocks were still up. That was the most painful time. And that was the most difficult
But
time.
if it wasn't so painful, we wouldn't do anything
yeah,
about it, you
right.
know? It's like, it's so, it's like Swami, somebody is not muted. Wait, can we mute?
Yeah.
Sorry,
think
I'm a little distracted here.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Swami always magnetized everything to a huge like amount that we could really see it and also feel it. Like in
Yes.
terms of the pain, it has to be so strong that you can't distract it, you can't bypass anymore. You have to deal with it, you know. And so this is a lot of students in this on this path who have done the mantras and the processes for a longer time and
Yeah.
are with Swami and the Guru Parampara. A lot of people go through a lot of intense purification and a lot of intense pains and blocks, and it's really intense. And it's because the soul is so empowered
Yeah.
to all these processes, and just having Swami in our life or a master, could be Jesus or Baba, whoever, that it's like these blocks, they have to be handled, they have to be washed. They are incompatible with the bright, powerful soul that we're supposed to be and
Yeah.
embody. So it's a big blessing,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah.
You know? It's so we are lucky,
Yeah.
you know, to have that soul empowerment. But if you feel any pain, it's a good thing. It's really showing you this is where you need healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why there are so many healers. And I would encourage everybody to really also get help and support with these kinds of issues. You know, like we needed healers and therapists. Now we
For
offer it,
years.
we offer it to others. I mean, this is really one of our core thing in our healings with people, the mother wound, right?
Yeah.
It's really a core. Everybody that we encounter has a mother wound. It's just incredible. And then next time we will talk about the next satsang, how we can use the Divine Mother to heal our physical mother's wound.
That's
And,
right.
like, we work a lot with Mother Mary, with our clients, but also with ourselves. Such powerful healing with her, with Mother Mary. It could be any form of the Divine Mother. It's just for us the most closest.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that next time.
Jagadambe has her hand raised. Do you
Oh,
want to say
yeah.
something?
Go ahead.
Thank you. When you were saying that in the presence of unconditional love, you know, to not fix and not give advice.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, what are your thoughts? Should we just listen, or can we just ask how to help? I'm talking about our child's, our
Oh man.
or our soulmates also, you know, how, because in a way we have more experience than they have. So it's, for me, still like a thing to try to give advice, not for them to follow, just in case it serves their own healing in when they are heartbroken,
Right.
or
Yes.
like that, you know. How can I help, or just listen and say I'm sorry and offer my love, or acknowledge also what they're saying? Because if you just stay quiet, it doesn't feel that you are listening, or you are empathic with what they are saying. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Very good question.
It's a
Thank
really
you,
good
Dr.
question.
Gabamba. This is-
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful question. Because I think for us as parents, and our parents were like that for sure as well, you know, it's so hard to hold that unconditional love without wanting to fix them. But at the same time, like you're saying, just being completely quiet, it's also not very interactive and fluent and natural. So how do you actually respond, right? And so our experience as parents is that, and we really had to learn this, like with our first child, we didn't yet know how to do this. We would always try to give advice and why don't you do this? Of course, coming from love. And this is what Swami says, the essence, of course, is always love, but it's still not received or experienced as that, because like our daughter, she was always rebelling against that, you know, like she just didn't want to hear anything, you know, and we were confused, like, but we just want to help, you know. And so we had to really learn this, and we had to get a lot of coaching and parenting help, and learn with our second child, with Liam, how to do this really practically speaking. And with him, we experienced, I think, a very powerful soulmate mechanism, which is kind of like, it's like active listening. I don't know if you've heard this term. It's in communication or psychology trainings. You can learn about that, like how to communicate in a way that you don't invade, you don't like advise, you don't how to say, try to fix, but you're just like trying to understand more closely what your child or whoever it is, it's could be your soulmate, it could be your client, what they are trying to tell you, what they're trying to share. So it could be, for example, a question, like a reflective question. For example, with our son, you know, when let's say he's really upset about something, he's screaming, he's super angry, you know, that we would say some, or we would ask something like, oh, that thing that you can't have that right now, that makes you really angry, huh? You know, or well, that really doesn't feel good, right? That XYZ, you know, or well, I don't know, do you have another example?
Oh, yeah.
Or when he's crying about something that happened, you know, that you're just saying something like, wow, this really hurts you, huh? Or this really hurt, this really hurt your heart, or this really doesn't feel good. You know, it's not about fixing, it's just I really want to understand what you're trying to say. I really want to get it, you know, and they feel it, they know it. They they immediately relax into that. Like, oh, they don't want to fix me, they don't want to change me, they don't want to tell me what to do. They just want to really get me. And that's what Swami says about a true soulmate. A true soulmate truly understands you. He uses this word understanding. And this is so powerful. Like, what are you trying to share with me? And especially with children, sometimes not so easy to get there. And they don't even know how to express it, you know, like they might share whatever, but not really truly their actual feeling, their actual vulnerability. And then it's about gently guiding them there, what they are actually trying to share, you know, and that is not at all about fixing or advising, you know. And that doesn't mean that eventually, after they shared their pain or their anger or whatever it is, and that is the soulmate mechanism, it's this sharing your true vulnerability, your pain, your anger, your hurt, your fear. You also be fear, you know, oh, I'm really scared of this or that. For example, our daughter, you know, when she's has anxiety, you know, sometimes she's just scared of things, you know, that we're then not saying to her, but there is no danger, you're safe, you know, that would not be the soulmate.
I mean, sometimes we
You
do.
know,
Sometimes we make that mistake.
yeah, sometimes we
Yeah.
still do that.
Yeah.
We're still learning, okay?
Yeah.
But what she just needs, for example, when she's scared, is like something soothing, like putting our hand on her, like, oh, you're really anxious about this, huh? Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you, you know? Like you don't have to say it, but energetically, that's again the soulmate. You know, I'm with you. You're not alone right now. No, see, I'm not trying to talk her out of her fear or try to give her some advice what to do about it. For example, we tried in the past things like, Prima, you just need to breathe. Let's breathe, you know. And she got so furious, you know, like again, out of love, trying to help, you know. But no, she just needs to feel safe in a way that we are with her. That's, you know, that is the unconditional love. Or when he shares with me or I share with him from pain, that we're just there. You know, it doesn't mean we're just quiet, but I don't know that. Does it make sense? Do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, what I would say is
Being one,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
exactly
sharing this
yes.
pain with each other,
Yeah.
or that fear. You're not alone in this. I am with you. Swami even says that about soulmates. I am with you.
Yes.
That's the energy of a soulmate.
Yes.
You know, you're perfect the way you are, with your fear, with your anger, with your whatever emotion it is. You're perfect the way you are. That's unconditional love, right? Which is so hard, you know, because we didn't grow up like that, right? Our parents were judging us when we would cry or scream, or, you know, always trying to fix us. And because they didn't know how to handle it. It was not they were mean or anything. They loved us, but they were overwhelmed. They didn't know. They thought we needed to behave, otherwise they get judged by their neighbors. So, so much fear in themselves. So we need to have compassion for them.
Yeah.
But this is really the essence, I would say. It's this, I am the presence of love for you
Yes.
in this moment of your pain, your
Yeah.
fear, your distress, whatever it is, I'm with you and I love you.
Yes.
I love you. You're perfect the way you are. I hope this makes sense.
Yeah. 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 I mean, the way that I
Does that? Okay.
um
Okay. you.
imagine the way that I see this whole
Yeah.
process is, imagine the soul, right? The soul comes into a body, and then in the body, it's this beautiful light, but then it has these emotions and these painful experiences, right? And they're really strong. And the only thing that the soul needs is another soul, right? Who can be with it. That's all it needs. It just needs another soul presence. It just needs the
The love.
presence and the love. Because the moment the love from the soulmate flows to the soul, then it's that whole mechanism that we talked about earlier. Then whatever the soul is feeling can pass, right? And doesn't have to get stuck. And so all we need when we're in pain is just to share, this is how I'm feeling. It's in my experience, it's all about our inner feelings. It's not about the story. It's not about what happened. It's not about who did what. It's just, when this happened, right? This is how I felt.
And this is the art of a parent, because a child will usually start like, yeah, this kid so and so did this and this, and it's such a mean kid or whatever, or they will blame, they will project it outward, and then that is what then we as the mother or as the soulmate can kind of guide them to, like, oh, it felt really bad, huh? And then eventually you're completely not talking about that person anymore, or what happened before. You're talking about the feelings, you're talking about the heart or the fear or the pain or the
Anger,
whatever it is.
jealousy,
it could
whatever.
be rage, it could
Yes.
feel, could be the child feels treated unfairly, like our daughter, she often feels things are unfair, and it's really painful to her when something is unfair, and then you just need to acknowledge that, like, yeah, you really want fairness, you really want justice, so sometimes it's also just kind of like bringing out the essence for them, that they learn, well, this is actually what I feel. They don't realize it themselves, they just feel rage and of course blame everybody else. That's what we all do, so they learn a lot by us kind of redirecting them to themselves, then it's also, anyways, can talk about that.
Yeah, but in the
Yeah.
soulmate relationship, it's the
Yes.
same thing, right? Regardless of whether it's a kid or somebody who wants to share. And this is also part of why it's so difficult to share in a soulmate relationship, is because much of the time we're not sharing our inner feelings. We're not sharing what we really feel. We ourselves are stuck like the child, right? Who's angry at, the person who took their ball away,
Mhm.
right? That's where we're stuck. And so it's really important for us to get in touch with our inner feelings.
The vulnerability.
When that person took that ball, right? Whether it was as a kid or when my boss said this to me, this is how I felt.
And then you will always find some very vulnerable, painful, or fearful thing that is behind that anger or rage, whatever it is. It's always something very, very soft and vulnerable.
Yes.
And then to love that
Yes.
with unconditional love. It's not about, you should have said this to the boss.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
You should have run and get the ball back.
Right.
That is how we all grew up, right?
Yes.
Like this, the fixing and
Yes.
and doing something about it, and like we try to teach our kids,
Yeah.
and it has its place. I'm not saying never ever, teach your child or guide your child, but when it's really about emotions and feelings, this is not what's healing it. Then they'll just keep carrying it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
Nick wants to say something.
just really quickly, it's just the love. It's just the presence of the love. The presence of the love of the one soul to the presence of the second soul. And then that second soul is able to hold that emotion in love, right? And then that love for that inner, like when the love permeates the inner feeling, that's when it washes. And then the last thing that I wanted to say about this, that I'd love to hear from Janice, is so then in my experience, when I'm in the presence of Florentine or my kids, right? And I'm really able to listen from my heart and from my soul. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm in my head, sometimes I'm in my mind. And that's when I try to fix situations. That's when I try to give advice, right? But when I'm really in my heart and I'm really in my soul, then I am able to feel what they feel. And then it's not very difficult.
Just be there with them.
Yes.
Do that.
Because then even if they're not expressing their feelings, I can ask like, oh, did that really make you feel sad? And I know it because I feel it. And then once I express it, then very often they say like, yeah. And then they're able to lean into that. And then they're able to share that inner feeling. And the reason why, I say that is because I don't have to come with an agenda. I don't even have to show up with my mind. I just go into the situation and feel. And from that feeling, the situation, it arises very naturally what to say. It comes, in other words, it comes from the soul to the mind. And then my mind knows, oh, I should say this, as opposed to from my mind down, right? Like, I'm going to say this and I'm going to tell her that. And she doesn't need to worry about this. There's no heart there. It arises from the soul. The mind is just supposed to be blank.
And servant to
a
the
servant
soul.
and await the messages from the soul. And then we communicate those messages.
Yeah, the mind is actually not in itself a bad thing.
Yeah.
As long as it's serving the soul and not is in charge. That's the
trying to
problem.
dominate on
Yeah.
the soul, like, you shouldn't feel this way. It's not okay.